Bugs attacking me. Oi, oi, oi. Go live. Saintly. Mate, I miss you. I miss you, Saintly. Oh. All right, I'm getting into it so I can get it over with. Let's go. Randwick, really weird track. Really weird track. Definitely a good advantage to be up on speed. Very weird surface. Like it was testing, but it certainly played sort of between a 6 and a 7. A little bit better around the circle. The out of the chute was still a little bit slow, but 7 looked fair. Mate, I did. I saw that. I saw 108th. I saw it very briefly. I missed it, but I had it on the background. He's a lunatic. And I saw him going berserk on betting on everything known to man in NBA, NFL. So the track was definitely around that 7 range. Definitely hard to run on. Definitely hard to run on wide. The more I watched the replays, the more you had to come up the inside a bit. And it was, difficult to sort of circle from the back 100%. So, a bit of a weird track. Certainly, usually when the rail goes back to the true and it's soft, you normally want to come wide, stay away from that inside section. But most horses that ran on did. So many horses that worked hard in fast tempos up on speed held on. So these are the sort of tracks that are hard to get your head around. But, from my experience, you sort of just take it for what you get. It is what it is. So... Eyeball area 1800 metre race, found its race, inside draw. Jesus Christ, Paul. You're going early. Race 1, I'll jet through these so we can talk about the Melbourne Cup. Race 1, very slow run race. Rodagila just had the perfect run right behind the speed. Every possible chance. Leader of the Japanese horse, Asana, sort of led and wilted. Strawberry Impact got the back of Rodagila. I actually think this horse has got upside, Rodagila. I think it's going to win plenty of races. First up was obviously a disaster around Warwick Farm that day. It was very hard to run on from the back, and it ran over the back of them, but no excuses this time. Ran some very fast sections, which you'd expect off the back of a slow tempo up front. They just basically handed this horse the race, landed in the 1 out, 1 back spot. Chicum was very disappointing. Scalable was disappointing. Pulled up with a respiratory issue or respiratory noise. That's about it. I thought Placid Pearl went okay. I think it's ready to go now, and I thought Belle de Tel was fine first up. But I didn't think there was much to learn here other than the obvious that Rodagila went very well. Strawberry Impact's just that little bit hard to place. Just always that little pair further back, finishing off. Needs to find the right race. And I'm sure they'll find the right race with Belle de Tel as well. Good evening, Astro. That's race 1. Race 2. Not much to talk about here. I thought that they were a bit stiff to uphold this protest. To me, it looked like it was very close to the line, and I'm not sure if it changed the result, but it was probably a 50-50 one. It wasn't completely obvious, I don't think. But had the best run you've ever seen of all time. Love will come later. Fast run race here. They went about 5 lengths above to the 800, maintained that fast tempo to the 6 and came home very slow. So to me, this race is very average. Creon looked home, won in real time and then was beaten on protest. Pony Soprano sat up outside the speed. It's one of these horses that fought on after being in a tough position. Creon was outside the leader as well. Ferrazano was okay, coming home late. Concoction pulled up 1 out of 5 lane. Thought it was a bit of a poxy race. Obviously these horses line up against each other over and again, but wasn't much to be learnt here. I think probably better off being negative about the winner going forward. Good luck to Connections for winning the race, but I think that was its Christmas present. Just landed in the spot right behind them with cover and, took the whole straight to get their one on protest. So for me, Love will come later. I want to be against it next time unless it finds the absolute ideal race. I think it'll come up shorter than it should be, and that's probably my main taking from this race as we're jetting through these. And not much feedback, which is great. We love that on these average races. Race. Disable. Well, we've got 400 things open. Let's get rid of some of these things that might speed us up. Go away. Race 3, very slow run race. Yeah, I agree. It was weird. Yeah, I did. I just really couldn't get my head around it. The Transcend we're talking about, yeah, once the rain came, that probably helped it and it made a little bit more sense. But before the rain came, which wasn't expected, for it to be so short was crazy. I kind of went looking for a horse in the race, and Husk was the horse I found, and yeah, they literally just dragged it out. It was the worst tactics of the day. I circled it. Husk completely and utterly just gave up at the start. Basically, you know, the horse didn't go well. They'll probably say it didn't go well, but it was given literally no winning chance. They go out 3.5 lengths below to the 800 here, slow down to 6.5 below by the 600, and then come home, you know, 3 above. The winners run the 4th fastest last 200 of the day, so it was never getting run down. Transcend's gone okay, but they literally just handed this race to Bravissima, and those horses that went back, so Delicious, Ruby, Serve, and Husk that were taken back at the start all went terrible, all just gave up. They just had no winning chance. And, you know, the way the track was on this day, Delicious has still run home decently. And I thought Editing was actually really good last 200 metres here, and it's ready to go. I thought it was an interesting horse to follow. Editing, it was in that fast track at Warwick Farm first up, back on the inside, and then it's running to this track here. I think Editing can definitely improve next time out. Bravissima, as you sort of said, it was its Christmas day, but it did okay. Miss Emma's a big pointer to the tempo and the track. It's not much of a creature and ran 3rd. Yankee 1 was a little bit disappointing, sitting outside the leader. Rapidash went okay. Delicious okay. I think Editing's the one I'd be interested. I think it's been in 2 unsuitable races, 1st and 2nd up, and should be ready to go 3rd up. Pretty shite meeting, I agree, Paul, but we'll get through it. Race 4. Run of the day here, Meridiana, absolutely insane. Ran the second fastest last 200 of the day off a fast tempo from out the back and wide, which just basically nothing did. I'm happy to say it was, obviously not the best horse on the program, but run of the day. Son of Deck cut through the inside. Good ride from JVO. The horse is going well, loves the wet, did a good job. I can't get my head around Phillipsburg Phillipsburg ran the second fastest last 200 of the day, which doesn't make any sense to me, and did it up the inside. So it's one of the strong pointers to me that the inside was fine. Obviously, the horse still running well is completely does my head in. It's not a sit sprinter. It's a sort of one-paced 2,000-metre horse, so it doesn't really make sense, but it did what it did. Meridiana came around them and ran the fastest last 400 and 200 of the day. So its run was huge. Mogwai did a decent job sitting up on speed. Again, a lot of these horses like DeBello set this fast tempo, 3.5 above, 1.8 to the 600 and below 3 lengths below the last 6. So it was a solid tempo. Dusty Bay sat wide, no cover, and lost a plate. Jack Duggan was obviously very unlucky, but not sure it would have won. B12 had plenty of interference in the straight, was a bit of a give, but I don't think it's got much upside this prep. Meridiana's the one horse in this race that's got upside for me. The rest of them, what you see is what you get pretty much. Moncana had an absolute dream run and couldn't have done much better. I think it's sort of had enough this prep. A lot of these horses are just hanging on by a thread, whereas Meridiana's definitely got upside to get out of this grade and go up in class. Well done, Jake. You found the winner. Yeah, it was findable, Saintly. It was findable. We'll find the leader in that race was the key, and I actually thought that Husk would lead. So I was wrong, but I was trying to find the leader and didn't find it. I found the one that was dragged back to last. I can't use any replays currently. Still negotiating, and I don't want to cause any more trouble. So at the moment, we're staying in our lane. You never know. I thought about Stewart's footage, but maybe I'm poking the bear if I do that. We'll hopefully get there in the long run. This was a good effort, Black Run. Obviously, the pattern in its favour, but did go quick. It was only second up. It set a fast tempo first up and stuck on pretty well, Black Run. I think this horse has got more wins in it in Australia. Set up on speed, as we said, and sort of fought back and beat Glad You Think So, who basically tracked him everywhere. I think Sun God was really good here. I think it's not suited at all by the conditions second up, and certainly not, ideal for it. United Kingdom cut up the inside, but had a lot deeper form and a stronger preparation to run a strong last 800, which is what it did. Cut the corner a bit. Every possible chance for Harlow missed here. I'm very forgiving of Sun God and even King Pedro, who was beaten a lot further, but I think he's had a lot against him first and second up, King Pedro. So he's a horse that I'm sort of keeping on the radar. And I think Sun God's ready to win, over 2,000 metres again next start. I think it's ready to go again. Maybe up in grade, a bit down in weight with a senior rider on would be ideal. But, it wasn't a bad ride. It was just things were against it here. These sorts of races where the leaders rolled and just kept rolling, it was basically impossible to run on. So very good from Black Run. No knock on it, even though the pattern was in its favour. Glad You Think So did a good job, but that's as good as he goes. I think the same for United Kingdom, even though it was back and had to chase. It was good, but what you see is what you get. I think there's more to Sun God and King Pedro here. Yeah, I agree with that. It was forgivable, Power of Opal. It sort of got stuck in an awkward spot. And again, it's not that well to set up, but it was definitely a little bit disappointing. I wouldn't be surprised if it did improve, but it definitely needs to off. I know what you're saying. What we saw early, we thought she was a pretty talented horse with huge upside, but she's not really showing it yet, right? I'll have to watch it. Reminds me of Riff Rocket. You're going to show if we get colleague. Yeah, well, Riff Rocket could have been anything. Riff Rocket 100% could have been anything. That's that race. Race 6, Poker Jack. Dirty with myself not finding this horse. It's been ridden back so many times in a row now. And this is one race where I would love to show the start. Let's see what we can do up here. Just because it's just so pivotal. We're allowed to show clips, right? We're allowed to show clips that are educational. We're giving commentary on them. That's the definition of fair dealing. Let's see if we can get this to work. It's not going to be so great from here. Maybe if we go here. Why is that doing that? Why do you want to do that to me? A roll? Got to think on the fly here because I can't remember how to fix this. Oh, here we go. So yeah, this just the start is all I really want to show.
There's the light.
That's very loud, Darren. That's very loud, Darren.
Ready to run, race number 6. The betting suggests it's a 2-horse race and the gates are...
So here's the winner who shows the initiative to boot forward. And here's the horse that showed no initiative to boot forward and ended up getting some back. Well, I think if they're positive with this horse, it wins. So let's just put it that way. I think if Brave One, especially once it jumps well, shows the initiative to roll forward, whether it ends up outside Poker Jack or Who But Roo's forced on. I think if he's positive at all and not physically restraining the horse, he doesn't end up behind slow horses, doesn't have to come wide, and he wins the race. So to me, that's the only important part. The other horse that probably could have led is Memoria, and it was grabbed hold of too. So Amy McLucas got her reward for being positive and eventually taking it up by winning the race. And I think it was only won the race due to the poor rides or negative rides on Brave One and Memoria. Yeah, it's been going good. Yeah, that's the thing, Paul. But it's been ridden, and you can even see there, I don't think she went out with the intent to lead, but at least she had the guts to sort of boot through when no one else wanted it, and I think that won at the race. It was strong through the line and, you know, did a good enough job, but it was definitely the ride that won the race or the position in run. Brave One you probably could have won, and so Memoria if it was ridden similar fashion. So, yeah, I don't think we learned a lot here. They went about one length, 1.4 above, 2.2 to the 600, then came home in even time. The time was good, so there's no fluke in the win. He just took advantage of a good ride and conditions to suit. As I said, it's the one that got away for Brave One. It's going okay. Memoria was a pass mark, but they all had things to suit here, and I stole a Merc that was just ridiculously short, didn't jump that well, and got back into a poor spot and never really was in the race. Shrooms. What are we on to next? Russell Balding. This was, the charge of the Light Brigade, which is what probably everyone expected. Marzu, especially the way the track was, you knew that they were going to put some speed on here, and they went about 10 above to the 800, increased that to 12 above to the 600. And again, this is another strong pointer to how strong this bias or pattern was. Marzu holds on for third over 1,300 metres, and Coal Crusher, which sits 3 wide the whole way, or maybe even 4 wide for a decent portion of it, was sticking it out for 4th. So, you know, there definitely was an advantage to be up there, whether it was because the track was testing or what. I'm not really sure. Strange ride of the day again here on Private Eye. Actually dragged back from the gate. Very strange. There was a lot of speed in the race, and compared to recent races where there has been no speed when it's going forward, I understand it, but to be dragged right out basically gave away his winning chance, and his effort was good from the back. Strauss was good with not much luck, the Japanese horse. I think Private Eye's probably near the end of his prep, and we probably never see Strauss again, so that doesn't really matter. More Victorious sat outside the leader, working first up. It was okay. Briassa was very plain. Something wrong with War Machine. I'm certain of that. He's just not travelling or doing anything like, I think that first up run to second up in the Everest, something either went wrong or he busted a valve, running in the Everest second up. The winner was dominant, but it did have an absolute great run in transit. Jimmy Starr sort of backing on the inside, never had this really go round. He only went round one horse and got to the front. But yeah, as I said, he was still dominant. The time overall was very fast here, so no knock. Lady Shenandoah definitely had a decent run, but never travelled. And I think she's going to be a very, very good horse in the autumn. I just hope she strengthens up a bit. She's a little bit of a little girl against the boys at the moment, and if she strengthens up, she'll be very dangerous in the autumn and next spring. Obviously, a very good horse. No genius pointing that out, but she's just not had everything go her way in the Everest or in this race, and she's still run extremely well. So, yeah, I think she's a very good horse. Just hoping she just matures a little bit. They give her a decent spell. Marzu, as you said, sort of stuck on. Most of these horses are probably getting put away now, right? G'day, Nikki. I haven't heard about him backing up. I would be very surprised if they did. And I don't want anyone to back up. I want it to be a one-horse field with 10 Tyrus running at $17 for me, and that's it. Race 8, the time-honoured Golden Eagle. This race was run at absolutely ridiculous speed, 13 lengths above to basically the 8 and the 600, and come home 12 below. So the time is only average off the back of a very fast speed and tempo. Polar opposite to the Epsom, which is, incredible really for Autumn Glow to... I'll show the start again here. Yeah, and the Grief Verifier, and they're all forgives. They're all genuine forgives. She was good for first up as well, right? So she's been a forgive every run this prep. Seppels was the wrong price. Why can't I go up to that screen? What have you done to my screen? Here it is. I'll show the start here because I just want to show what J-Mac did. And basically deleted Nash at the start. And this is when Nash, when J-Mac's on and when he's, not saying he's not on sometimes, but...
The Golden Eagle.
Shut up, Darren. You're too loud.
2025 starter about...
So Autumn Glows in the middle here in the Arrowfield colours. This is Evaporate. And watch the urgency from J-Mac. Jam out, straight right, just puts Nash in a sleeper hold. Absolutely punishes him. Nash has done his absolute best to try and hold that spot. And J-Mac's not having any of it. And sort of just pushes forward and just continues to push him into an awkward spot. So, you know, if he was negative there or came out, you know, a little bit soft, he could have ended up anywhere. And the way the track was, being back here as opposed to being, you know, forward and in the spot that he ended up, and then when obviously the ride further into the race was even better. This is poor old Panja Tower. It got deleted at the start a bit as well. I thought he did a good job. Panja Tower's on the inside here in the yellow with the black. So it half misses it and gets deleted as well and ends up, you know, further back. And depth of character is another sort of horse that sort of snuck up the inside, showing the inside was pretty good, I think. But yeah, to me, J-Mac's ride was incredible here. Seppels, as Saintly said, was a big improver. And that was only due to being unlucky last start and getting squashed. J-Mac squashed it, ironically, last time too. So few tricks that riders play at the start that certainly make big differences at the end. But yeah, she was very good, but given a great ride. Seppels every chance, but a good performance. Evaporate was great. We showed sort of where it got a check back and had to sort of be a length or so back of where it could have been. Depth of character, I wish it went to Melbourne. It would have trotted in. Panja Tower was fine. Again, we probably won't see him, but he did a good job. Crystal Clear is a huge pointer to say that this track was heavily biased because it sits up outside on the speed here and sticks on. Linebacker was very plain. Medella was awesome late for a horse racing in this grade, sort of coming out of a midway. It's just absolutely flying. Perfumer set that fast tempo and sort of kicked and then got very tired late. But you know, nothing ground shaking there. Everything sort of was as it seemed, I thought. Autumn Glows are physically just a far superior horse to Lady Shenandoah, as in like literally physically to look at. If Lady Shenandoah caught up to her physically, she'd be very, very dangerous. And she still is. Will it back up, Paul? I saw someone tipping it in the big dance or something. Buckaroo's a horse with a short sprint. We'll talk about it in the Melbourne Cup. I haven't had a good look at this race, so I'll just quickly watch it. I don't think there was much there, was there? The only thing, Mays and Louis went like a busted crab. The tempo, they went very fast, sort of 7 lengths above. They slowed down to 3.6 by the 600-metre mark. Wooten Verni didn't travel at all well. It's definitely taken a few runs to hit its straps, this horse, and just continues to improve. I'm no knock on it at all. It could find a similar race in the next couple of weeks and win again. Imperialist was good. Redstone Wall had every chance and should be peaking soon. Yeah, the only horse that was disappointing really was Maison Louis and heavily, and so was Bois d'Argent. I haven't looked at the steward's report either for this race. Just been under the pump. What have we got? Maison Louis coughing. Apart from some coughing post-race, Wooten Verni, fine. Bois d'Argent, post-race, there's no abnormalities. So nothing in the steward's report, really. Yeah, Imperialist is probably going better than what I thought it could. Wooten Verni, to me, is a horse that had to back up last start to prove that it's a real horse, and it definitely is. It's definitely just taken a while to get fit and kick on. Yeah, I didn't mind Our God Hope punching forward. It just went too quick. I think they kind of had to do something. It did surprise me. I don't know whether the track was against Maison Louis or not, but it was still disappointing. It found a really good spot, and other horses definitely had more against them in the run, and it was very weak. So it was a shame to see that. The last was a bit of a nothing race. Josh sort of mid-race takes off on Midnight Dynamite. I think it's a bit of a poxy race. He went about 2.5 above to the 8 and the 6, and then 3.3 below. It's won by 2.5 lengths, never in doubt with Bojangles chasing it. I wish they'd go back in distance with it. Verbal punched on okay, beaten 7. All these horses are... I think Golden Strand is 100% got to go to the paddock. Polly Polyglot didn't finish the course, so that takes away from the race as well. I'd be keen to risk Midnight Dynamite in most cases next start, unless it found an absolute ideal situation again like this, but that's unlikely. I think it'll be overplayed next start. Midnight Dynamite, be happy to be taking it on. I think Mr. Bojangles has to come back in trip. Verbal, what you see is what you get. Emirate, what you see is what you get. I think it was a bit slow out, so you could be a little bit forgiving, but yeah, I don't think this race is strong. So yeah, happy to take this form on a bit next time, unless, you know, very demanding of wherever these horses go next start. Yeah, money team's going around tomorrow, right? I'll chat quickly about Melbourne. I haven't looked at it. Haven't had a chance. But I haven't looked at the sectionals or anything. So, Panova's race, they just went way too hard. Went out 5 above, 10 above to the last 600 and 8 lengths slow. So, even though there was detachment there in that Carbine Club, it was still a good effort from Panova, but heavily pace assisted. So, the winners only come home 2.2 lengths above average the last 800 metres to win the race. So, yeah, a very flattered Panova, but still a good effort. A horse on the up. Hard to be too negative about it. That horse, just a mental case old Regal Award. Does himself no favours whatsoever. Could be the worst ride of Hippo's career on Kilman, an absolute shocker. He and Brad Rawiller just decided to bump each other the whole way. I don't know what that was about, but not much there in the first. She's an alibi, just caught in a zip locker in the second. She was far and away the best horse. Very controlled tempo there, just basically even the whole way. And she was just lucky to get that run through late and quite dominant. I think that form will be okay. I don't think there was, you know, Tina Alili was fine. But sort of what you see is what you get there, I think. Chatham Stakes, Caballas, when it landed behind the leader, what price was it in the run? But there was a weird slowdown there between the 800 and the 600 that Star Patrol sort of controlled the tempo probably too much and obviously didn't race very well, beaten 4 lengths anyway, Star Patrol, but absolute ideal situation for Caballas to just sprint home off the back of that. It's got a really nice 200 to 400 metre sprint in it where then it peaks. So once it landed there and they controlled the speed and backed it off, yeah, basically the race was over. Disney, I thought, was really good through the line. Hedge was good through the line. Libertad was good through the line there. Not suited by the slow tempo. I think that this form will be quite good. I think if these horses run again this preparation in similar grade, Group 3, Group 2, you know, listed grade, I think all these horses can measure up. That's Caballas, Gigi's Mistruth, Persisto. Watch Me Win was okay. Disney, as said, was good. I think I'd just love to see it in a fast run race down the straight someday, Disney, especially with, you know, I'm not knocking Ash, didn't do a lot wrong on it, but a strong rider would be good too. Hedged and Libertad are definitely going good enough, and Michael D's ride on Royal Insignia was pretty special. It was pretty bad. Pretty bad, just gave it none. Even Super Razi back in the fields, ready to win a race, stepped up in trip, probably 1,400 metres. Yeah, there you go, Braz. Actually, I'll watch it again right now because I didn't watch the start. I did watch the end a couple of times, so let me just watch it.
Coming up to the outside. Stand by for a start. The rising fast stake.
If I put that up there, does that work? Let's have a look.
Crash and racing, and Hedge was one of the better ones away.
Does that work? Yeah, that works. So this is Disney, right? And that's Caballas here, right?
Coming up to the outside. Stand by for a start. The rising fast stakes at 1,200 metres. Ready. Crash and racing, and Hedge was one of the better ones away, with also Libertad out past the middle. Bezusto.
Now I can see what you're saying. Like rather than looking to hold Star Patrol's back or a position he's looking to go this way.
Wins in that leading group as well as the
yeah, and then Caballas rolls across. So yeah, super weird, right? Super weird considering they're stablemates that one's looking to cross to the inside to get the back of. Unless he's trying to get on the back of Caballas, I'm not really sure what happened there. Yeah, very weird. I'm refused to look, Paul, because I know it's going to upset you. Holy shit, I'm looking where it is now, though. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that form will work out well, and I think even back to Super Razi, I think you'll be able to find a race for a lot of these horses in the coming weeks, especially the sort of lightly raced ones. The Wakeful's not worth watching. They go at 3 lengths below to the 8, drop to 5 lengths below by the 6. They only come home a length above. So if you can find a horse to beat, got a good feeling, namely the second horse, Strictly Business, who's definitely come home in a lot stronger sectionals the last, 8, 6, 4, 2. I think this horse is definitely beatable, got a good feeling. Similar case to Observer. He's had every chance, every start. There's not much around to beat it. But I think, if something shows up on the day, this horse is definitely not a gimme going to the Oaks, got a good feeling. Only its second start in a race, Strictly Business. It was very good. Very, very dangerous in the Oaks for mine. Yeah, I agree with you, Saintly. Next is the Lynn Lithgow Stakes. Disappointing there if you backed in Zudo. Probably should have won. I'd say with near certainty it should have won. Stapati was good from the back. Another controlled tempo. They went about 1.5 below to the 8, up to even by the 6, and then 2 lengths above. So time was pretty good. Warney finally stuck its nose out. I thought Zoo Sensation was home personally, and then it just peaked late, maybe just at the end of its prep. Certainly had a good preparation. Didn't think there was much else there to really write home about from behind. In Zudo, certainly the horse that was very, very unlucky not to be in the finish. I'm not sure. I know Timmy was a chance of riding it, Paul, but I did hear rumours that Craig Williams would ride it. I'm not sure who rides it, to be honest. It's a bit weird. I was a bit skeptical. I was scared to ask Timmy if he got the ride or not, but yeah. Keeping in the rhythm of watching the starts. This was incredible. I know they go fast here, so they go 6 lengths above basically to the 800, way too quick. They try and steady it up to 3.6 above. They come home quick. They run fast time. But Tentyrus was dead set deleted out the gates, and I wanted to put my head through a TV after about 20 metres here. I thought absolutely no chance. Here he is here. He just, old mate on, what's it called? Hidden Motive. Ash Morgan, our friend, goes left and just smashes him out of the gates. And he gets spat out the back completely. Whether that was a blessing in disguise or not, I'm not sure. Because I was hoping they'd ride this horse cold. I thought they'd go fast enough. And I would have preferred to see it back here anyway than sort of trying to hold a spot. So I'm not saying it, 100% helped that it was the best thing that ever happened. But, yeah, he's pretty special, this horse. Just burst through the line. But 7 fast the last 600 of the day from the back and definitely peaked on the line. I think if he backs up this week, he'll at least do this again. I think you could even get even better than that. Talking to Hippo after the race, this horse definitely, I think they just went too fast, which didn't do him any favours. But, I think he doesn't think it's a 1,200 metre horse ideally. Different race shape, the horse can definitely win over those distances. I'm absolutely certain of that. But I'd love to see this horse get to 1,400 metres a mile pretty quick next preparation. I think he would have gapped him in the Caulfield Guineas. Baywhack, I think he went fine here. He got beaten, 4 lengths, but they went very hard. Skyhook, again, it's similar. I think I'd love to see it get to 1,400 metres next prep and a mile. Sky glided, sort of didn't do itself disjustice. I think he beat 5 lengths on the second up, back up. Thought he was good. Love to see where he gets to. Really excited about most of these horses. My Gladiola ran very well. Legacy Bound went great. Another horse that I think is suited up to 1,400 metres. Can't wait to see him get on speed over 1,400 and control a race. Legacy Bound. I think they're all top class horses. I'm a pretty tin hat wearing grumpy bastard most of the time, but I think these 3-year-olds are very solid sprinters. I expect this horse to win the race on Saturday. Craig rides. There you go, Sam. Ran the last 600, wasn't he? 32 home. I'll tell you. These times are adjusted for they're not off raw times. So when I say that, you've got to take that into account. Sorry, but off the last 600... Stapati quickest, Royal Insignia second, Warney third, Super Razi fourth, Lazura fifth, Desnick sixth, Tentyrus seventh. GG's Mistruth, bloody blah. 8 to the 2 is the one I love. Lazura. Jeez. So Lazura's gone better than what I expected it could in the Empire Rose. Observer, 10 lengths below, 11 lengths below to the 800, 9 lengths below to the 600, and only comes home 1.3 above for a very slow time, off a very slow tempo. All it did there was prove to me that they're dead set whackers, all these horses behind. They were completely unsuited by slow tempo, and once he was, ballsy enough, Zara, to go to the front, took him a while to get this horse under control, but once he did, yeah, it was just a sit sprint and turned it into an absolute observer fest. He's a very, very good horse, but jury's out whether, any of these horses are top class for mine. I was lucky to find the right whacker in Arcora, who ran second, but it was a very good ride from John Allen, and, any one of a few horses could have run second here, but nothing breaks the clock coming home. Decent runs from Options and Seamus from the back, but and who's the horse in front of it? Order Mystery, but it's just, to me, it's just a very average group of 3-year-old whackers for mine, so I don't think there was anything too exciting out of the Derby. I'll watch it now, Paul. I haven't watched the replay. I think he's a very, very easy chance of being a good horse next prep. He's just had a really tough prep Options where he's sort of overcome trouble. Oh, God, in the white cap there. I'm watching it now. Yeah, he's definitely like gas late. Like even though he was held up and lost his momentum, I think he's cactus anyway for the prep. I think he's had enough. There's just nothing really sort of bursting through the line like it was unlucky. Order Mystery definitely gets home the best late. I'm not saying these are bad horses. I just, I don't think there's any superstars there. Observer's definitely the one when it comes back. He could be a 1,400 metre miler. So he's definitely he's definitely interesting going forward. It's just how much depth there is to the 3-year-olds, I think. Empire Rose, she goes about 1.6 lengths below to the 800 and then just ramps it up. But so she got control up to the 800 metre mark. She ran the first 800 metres to her liking and then smashed them sort of between that 800 metre mark and, well, what are we saying? 8 to the 6, 8 to the 4. She ran the 10th fastest of the day. That's where she put the race away. She's very weak late. The race is very weak late. The race overall is nothing special, around even time, about half length above. So very, very well ridden. Nothing performed exceptionally well from behind. Idle Flyer obviously beaten a long way trying to chase. The go for it was astronomical. I thought it'd get out to $10, end up starting $3.70. Dirty with myself that I didn't just trust that this horse, it was staying at a mile for the third time. It really psyched me out. But after 100 metres, I knew my fate, or 200 metres when she bounced into the bridle and went straight to the front and controlled things. Like Lucy was okay on display, was pretty good. Said bloody Lazura went better than I expected it to. I don't think there's anything too exciting to be learnt here. Yeah, 1,000 to the 600 and then the 400. And by the 400, she was out of biscuits, but the race was over and they were all out of biscuits chasing. That's about that for that race. And then the last, I was on Bryce Hayes' horse here for my absolute balls. Flying for Fun. I thought it was home for about 3 strides, but have been hoping the blinkers would go on this horse, New York Luster. And, they ran very strong late sections, these horses, off a fast tempo. They went very, very quick in the first 400 metres of the race here, like way too fast. So the horses up on speed worked way too hard, got softened up, and it's not a surprise that the ones that were right up on speed, most of them were out the back, and the only horses that stuck on were Arabian Summer and New York Luster, and it's run the second fastest last 400 of the day. So super win with the blinkers on, no fluke to it whatsoever. May have been in the best ground, but still a strong win for mine. Flying for Fun off its enormous run at Warwick Farm was great. Would have loved to swap the result first and second, but no excuses for Flying for Fun. I think they're both pretty good mares, to be honest. And best 2 horses in the race. Infancy was okay. Was the other horse I was interested in here, but not much upside for the rest. I think it'll win, Tiger. I think it'll win. I think he's a beast. I think he'll win the Everest. I think that was the first time he's been in a truly, well, the second time in a row he's been in an evenly fast run race. That was a stronger tempo than last time, and he's just got gears that these other horses don't have. I think he's a very good horse. I think the only way they'll beat him is sit sprinters, something out sprinting him or he gets held up, something like that. I think he's a dominant sprinter. Melbourne Cup. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? Betting wise, just shut like it's, obviously big goes today for our Riffer and a few others. I think half yours is a little bit soft, about $8 now. Our Riffer $7. I think they bet $8.50, $9. There was $11 around yesterday, which was just a huge price, I think. Valiant King down the bottom is out to sort of $9. And then what have we got? $8.50 Presage Nocturne, $10 Buckaroo. Oh, Braz, I would be in shock if I heard that. Jinxie. Harrowfield will love it. Flex their stallions. Influence. Yeah, they'll be desperate. The weights really matter that much. They do. Like I'm not a big historic man, Maya, and you probably know me well enough to know that I'm not a big historic man. When people say, barrier 8 is the only barrier you can win from, all these bullshit things. Weight does mean a lot, and I think it means a lot over 3,200 as opposed to sort of 1,000 metres, 1,200 metres. But it also equates to quality, and the spread is what's interesting. 7 kilos is the spread between for the top and the bottom. I did a preview before. I'll talk about my thoughts, and then we can sort of argue it out. What have I got here? This is what I come up with. So I'll just talk it through. What I basically look for are horses that can sustain a sprint, overcome trouble, be ridden a little bit quiet, conserve energy, and then sustain a run. And the difference between, I think, a half yours and our Riffer, a Valiant King. I'll show the video I showed. Hang on, how do I do that? Let me try and find it. Where do I find that? Where do I find you? Where are you? I don't want you to go there. I want you to go up here. Open with. Open, no, we go open with. Open with you. So what I try and sort of, the difference being horses that can open up margins late, horses that can sort of do things that other horses aren't doing in the race. So, often you'll see a bunch of horses running on, which is a little bit more like the Caulfield Cup. And as this horse is going through the grades, half yours, for me, he's a horse he just keeps building. He just keeps getting stronger through the line. Obviously that's not as high a class race as what we're seeing, but even here in the Caulfield Cup, the things that scare me about this race in particular, bunch margins scare me. A lot of the horses were sort of back and held up. They went quick, and then there's a lot of horses coming out of this same race. We got Vauban, Presage Nocturne, Absurd, Valiant King, River of Stars. They're all in this race, and they all don't get beaten far. There's not much between them. But the difference is this horse had the ability to sort of get past them from a similar spot and hold them off, and it's not weak. So I just feel like this horse is a little bit forgotten. I think the wet track's not going to hurt it, that's for sure. Definitely not weak on the line. He's not streaking away like he was in the other races. He was really good in the Turnbull at weight for age. And I think this is where weight does matter. This horse would have carried 51 if it wasn't for that win. Bumps up to 53. The only thing I'm interested here is the Valiant King, who's the horse behind. He missed the penalty, so he gets 51. They're the two horses for me I'm most interested in, sort of as winning chances in this race. I think Absurd's going to run well from an inside gate, conserving energy. I don't know what to do with Royal Supremacy. I think is a really highly strung horse that's not going to be suited to 3,200 metres. But if he's on his best behaviour, he can definitely run a race. I don't know what to do with Vauban. It was just too bad there, but it draws a low gate, handles soft ground. Late Shin's a freak. Maybe it can improve, but I'm saying, half yours has got a really strong winning chance. This horse, our Riffer, once he's got out to these, I thought he was a bit of a slug. I was watching his sort of mile and 2,000 metre run, sort of going through them run by run, and I didn't think he was that impressive. But once he gets out to 2,800 metres, you start to see a horse actually show a turn of foot, and that's when I became more interested in this horse. You know, what he does to these horses late in these 2,800 metre races, especially the Irish St Ledger at his next start, is great, you know, and he sort of rolls back to that ground that looks a bit longer to me, and then he does half pull up through the line when he eases up on him. And then this is his next run in the Irish St Ledger, where he's ridden an absolute treat from the back. But what I like about this race is the margins open right up. So that at that stage, there was probably, you know, 2 lengths between 7 horses there, or 8 horses. And then by the time, that's like the 200 metre mark, basically now there's still, you know, a length between 4 horses, 2 lengths between 5 horses. And what he does late to these horses is great. You know, he's definitely got some good class on his side. Look at, see what I'm saying here. In the last 200 metres, he opens the margins up to 3 by 4 by 2 by 5. So, you know, I think our Riffer definitely has to be a big player. Obviously, it's a great ride from the gate. We're talking about weight being an issue. I think on wet ground it means more. So I don't want it to be a heavy track for our Riffer, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was ridden cold, and, you know, as long as he doesn't get caught wide or have to circle from the back, and that's not easy to do on the day, I think he'll be thereabouts. I think this race is very weak, and he's got a class edge. And the other horse that I think is quite obvious is a good player is because I think he has beaten the handicapper. He's the weighted horse for me, is Valiant King. This was only second up. You know, he had a really quiet run back on the inside over 1,500 metres or something in Sydney, then had a trial, and this is second up off a brutal tempo. He was able to do this. Obviously pace assisted, but he's only second up. And he just absolutely gaps him. You know, he comes out of that form a couple of years ago that was far stronger. It was at West Wind Blows and without a fight, and those horses. And I just feel like they're the 3 horses that have got a bit of destiny in their own hands. That those, yeah, that's fine, Dave does. And I don't think he had the best run. I don't agree with that. I think I think that he's a horse that you can be ridden quiet, suck. And, you know, you had to take off early and wide there. She did a good job. She had to go when she went. But I don't think that's that horse's gift. I think he can travel, get off, and then make a sort of 600 metre dash to the line here and be dangerous. I think that I think our Riffer can do the same, and I think Valiant King can do the same. So for me, they're the 3 clear top picks. And then, you know, when it went to those other selections, you know, Buckaroo to me is a horse that's only got a 300 metre sprint. So he needs to be ridden very well. We saw last year when he was probably going a shade better, that when he was forced back and then wide, he was cactus on the line. So he needs a better ride, Buckaroo, but he's dangerous if he gets it. Morfellons needs a great ride from a wide draw, but I think he's just going sneaky well, and he's a big price. Absurd's drawn low. I think he needs a lot of favours to win the race, but I think he'll run well. Land Legend's just a horse, for me, sanity-wise. I have to throw it in. The earmuffs come off. I don't know what he's going to do, but I know that he's got a big engine in there somewhere. Arapaho was given a shocking ride the other day at Bendigo and did a good job, and I'm just very wary of Björn, and know the horse runs the trip out, handles wet ground, and it's 50 or 60 to 1. Chevalier Rose is a horse that I just threw in there because I'm just so wary of the Japanese horses, and if the track's not as wet as what everyone anticipates, it could run a race. It'll probably get to 60, 80 to 1, and it's just a silly price. Further comes out of a St Ledger, and it's more one pace than our Riffer, but it was in a high-class race last start, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it measure up. And River of Stars is just a horse that, to be honest, I don't really like it. I think it's a horse that drags back the form of the Caulfield Cup. It's got form around. Arapaho sat outside the fast speed in the Sydney Cup. Waller's just carrying on that it's the horse that he'd be backing if he was having a bet in the race. I don't really play into that much, but definitely he can measure the horses up, and it's obviously going well, you know, and in great shape. He wouldn't be going out there to put himself on show. So, you know, they're the horses I'm sort of throwing in exotics and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that Passage Nocturne's just very short. I think Buckaroo's short enough, but it's got a good chance. Flatten the Curve's ridiculously short for mine. One Smooth Operator didn't want the rain to come. It's dangerous if it gets it. What other horses? Are there any other horses? Yeah, I agree, Leo. I think I'm not big on breeding most of the year, but I do have a look at it when it comes to Melbourne Cups because you do want that pedigree and a bit of guts to your lineage to be able to sort of measure up in these races. And I agree that's a positive. Yeah, I'd be saving on the top one. Yeah, and I agree. There's Posty. Like if you want a rubber stamp from anyone, it's Posty. I've missed you, Posty. Especially watching these West Australian horses go around. I had the Quaddy 863 million times. If that Crusader Camel had a one the other day, I don't know what that ride was. I don't know what the hell was going on there. But I was thinking of you at the time. You probably backed the winner, which would make me even sicker. Torrenzino. If you find Torrenzino, Torrenzino's very, very honest. I just couldn't believe it was only $31. Torrenzino to me profiles more like a 60, 80, 100 to 1 chance that could pop up, but I'd be surprised to see it in the finish. Not knocking you though for tipping it. Yeah, I agree with that too, Blue. I agree with that. And there wasn't much between a lot of them, and I think that softened up half yours' finish, but it still won the race, right? So I agree with what you're saying. And Valiant King probably saved ground. Did get a little bit held up, but saved ground and maybe a little bit flatter. But I honestly believe, watching the replay 412 times, that they weren't really too concerned about winning the race. I think they've got one race in mind, and this is it. And yeah, it might get out to $10, $12, something like that tomorrow. I think it's fair enough price. It's, to be honest, 12 hours ago, I wasn't betting in this race. I had no opinion. I hated the race, and the more I look at it, the more I think there's three really strong chances. And then you got to go fishing for exotics. I don't think there's a lot between a lot of these if things unfold well for the horses in the run. But I think the top three horses mentioned have definitely got the race in their hands if things go to plan in the run for them. Maidan's interesting. I don't think it wanted wet ground. I thought its run in the Caulfield Cup was as good as anything, as in excuse-wise, just sat wide the whole way, brutal tempo, and then was forced absolute speared wide on the turn and wasn't giving up on the line. So, yeah, I'm not knocking Maidan if you like it. Absolutely. The gate is very tricky, 22. Where's he going to get to? If he drew low, I'd be much more interested in him. Obviously, with James McDonald on, that doesn't hurt. But, I don't think it wanted the rain from what I'm looking at its form. And, it's 25 to 1 with James McDonald. What will the world pull back? They'll back Kaying Rising. Yeah, can't knock that, Nikki. Can't knock that. Any other horses you want me to look at? Just seeing if I missed anything. Any other questions? Geez, I've got through a lot in an hour. Pretty good for me. Old Sir Have a Chat. What pattern would you take in the first four? Jinxie, for you, I'd say I'd take two of them. I'd have half yours Alrifa to win from all of them, maybe. And I've tried to put it in order-ish. So it just depends how deep you want to go. But there's not much between these next best for mine. I don't think there's much between them. So as I've said, sort of Buckaroo's 10 and Morph Vellens is 50. I don't think that gap should be there. So, and then our Valiant King as well. But that's probably what I'll be doing is messing around with trifecta's first fours with these horses to win and then some gap fillers in behind. Nothing at the moment, William, to be fair. I honestly haven't had a chance to have a good look at the day. I've got to do that now and forego sleep for another day, but nothing too much. Check back in with me in the morning. Sabage in the last. Which horse is Sabage? Oh, it's the thing that Damien Lane gave a barrier trial to the other day. I'm just looking at the form of the race very quickly. No reason it can't win. It's definitely got There's nothing dangerous there to my eye. It doesn't need to improve off last start to be in the finish. It's definitely got upside. It definitely can improve, and it definitely should run well. So I don't know what price it is, Sabaj. What price is it? $2.70. Jesus Christ, that's as short as I'd want to take, but I'm not gonna talk you out of it. The Roving Exotics, Eggy. There you go. Presage. Yeah, Presage is the horse that I've gone away from just because I thought its European form was very steady. Its run in the Caulfield Cup was great, and obviously some horses can come out here like that other thing, One Smooth Operator. They can't seem to come out here and grow a leg, and if it goes forward off that, it can. I'm just a little bit worried about all that Caulfield Cup bunched sort of margins, and I think it's short enough, but that's just my opinion. Stadio Mustala 1,000. Have you backed anything in the big dance? It's the worst race I've ever seen, Tiger. It's not the worst race. Thoughts on Surf and Bird? I won't be streaming tomorrow, Hugo. Still got some dramas there, unless I just come on and have a chat. Yeah, its win first up was astronomical, wasn't it? Surf and Bird. There is one horse that scares me in the race, and it is... well, if Surf and Bird recreates what it did last start, it'll blow their heads off. I think Pondalawi is absolutely airborne. I think it's suited back to 1,400 metres. I think it likes wet tracks. And I think it's the danger. And I think it's a good Quinella. I think $14 is a great price, Pondalawi. My only worry, Mayor, is with the streaming without the footage is that so many people are watching it in different ways. You're either watching it online, you're watching it on television, you're watching it on different channel on television, you're watching it through the app. So if I'm watching it through the app, everyone's at different time. It's just tough. I'm probably overthinking it, but Surf and Bird will go 180. I think people will find it. It's a very adaptable horse. Obviously, the rating's there from last start. It should only improve. Definitely no negatives. So, yeah, and there's not many horses in the race that have got upside. There's not a lot of speed, Fancify, and those horses aren't dangerous. So, yeah, I agree with you. It'll probably firm, if anything. There's only clips, Daniel, of the call of the card that I've seen. Yeah, it's a shame because even though a lot of it's staged, it's very good. It's very good for the excitement factor and whatever. Grand Prairie in race 8. Have a quick look. Flatten the curve, looks good if track is wet. I'm not sold on any of that form, Cooper. I think it's very, very average form, but as you say, like a wet track and, it's 1/6 of its last 7 or something. I'm not going to knock it too heavily. It was 100 to 1 a few days ago, which was a great price. It's probably, a bit shorter now and a bit tough. Race 8. What are we looking at? Oh, Grand Prairie. It's the horse from Adelaide. No, which one's Grand Prairie? There's a couple of prairie horses. 60s, 3-year-old. 3-year-old racing. Oh, it's a 3-year-old race. 1,400 metres. I'd have to have a closer look at that, but there's nothing too scary there. First look. Ripley's not scary. Burma Star's not that scary. Let me look at the betting. Hidden Achievement's an interesting horse, isn't it? Blinkers off, second up, 52 days between runs. Hidden Achievement looked like it was going to be a star in the autumn. And Jesus, it's an interesting horse. I'm assuming it's trialled. Let me watch its trial. Holy shit, this is like, it's 25 to 1, Hidden Achievement. Mark Zara on it. Blinkers off. Trial without the blinkers. So it ran in blinkers first up. Went like a busted with Rachel on it. And now it's been given a sound out in the trial, which I don't mind. Didn't trial great. But he was made to find the line. He did find the line. Jury's out on him a little bit, but he ran in the run to the Rose. First up, got beat 10 lengths. Watching the replay. So she just dragged it out of the race. And obviously this was the day where they run a fast time. Geez, it went bad first up, didn't it? Like she dead set sat up on it. But through the line, it's not that bad. I tell you, this horse is worth including at 25 to 1. With blinkers off, Zara, it could do something. Not sure. Hugo, I don't know how wet it's going to be. For it to be 25 to 1 and Ripley to be $6 is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Which one's Grand Prairie? Oh, Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie has had a long prep. That's the only worry for it. This is a bit 6 run in the prep with a freshen up trial in between. It was going really well. Sorry, I couldn't work out what horse it was. Now I remember. And it trialled okay, but it is a hard fit horse. Yeah, I think $10 is about right for it. Which one's Ludlam? Ludlam's gone like a rocket at Seymour. Gray in the wet, Ludlam. And okay, horse with upside. Any love for Molly Bloom in race 6? Jesus, you put me to the test. I've gone to the whole bloody going through the cart. This is actually good because I've got to do it anyway. Blinkers on Molly Bloom is very interesting. Horse is doing a lot wrong. Went terrible the other day. He was given a pretty average ride, but went terrible. Can improve for sure. What price is it? I'd want a price about Molly Bloom. Yeah, $12 in that race is fair. I think Kingswood's a bit of a suck. There's not too many horses there you'd trust. Apulia is interesting. It went like a rocket first up. It's dangerous. Apulia, second up, 1,800 metres, gate 12. Nothing helping it there. But yeah, I'm not knocking. Oh, he's back, Damien Lane. So he's back from. Of course, he's riding in the Melbourne Cup. He's like real class. Those horses are pretty chinky. Definitely looks a winnable race. What did St. George run second in the Coatnet League team? That was not much of a race. I think he'll Rip's outclass there, Perry. 500,000 was one bet, Cooper. I saw that. 500,000 at $8. South of India, where in Sydney? Is it in 2 races, Paul? I saw it was in 2, and I think the last in Sydney I was interested in something. Oh, I saw that Jurova was in the race. I was just having a look there. I think Jurova's absolutely flying. And Bundina looks well placed there too. But it's absolutely pissing down in Sydney too, from what I heard. So, yeah, South of India definitely much better suited in the last than whatever the other race it was in. I saw it was in a couple of races. What price is it? $10. Fair enough. $6 Bundine is about right, and Jurova $5 is no spoil. I would love to see Sunrise scratch for South of India. Yeah, it's a shame that it's not going to get a dryish track, Leo, the Japanese horse. Any other things to look at? We can do this on a Friday night. I actually enjoy this. So, wet everywhere. Harry, you didn't have to. Why do you have to leave it on that sort of note? The answer is about 12.7. Holy track at the Gold Coast. We've had another stormy tonight. It's just storm after storm. Pissing down in Echuca, pissing down everywhere. Ducks are loving life. Receiving a standing ovation from the Wolf Den app boys for taking 500,000 on our riffer from another punter. All right, guys, I'm going to do a runner preview stakes day. I might try and do Friday night. I've said that a few times now, but it's just been so busy. Yeah, Darwin. That's what I need to do. That's where that horse is going to win at, Darwin. I'll do Wentworth, and I'll do Wentworth Park. I agree, Verifier. Cheers, Saintly. Cheers, guys. Very enjoyable. Thanks for coming along. Good luck tomorrow. You're going to need it. Melbourne Cup Day. We always need luck. Doesn't matter how good a thing we find. It's always tough. So, Godspeed. Cheers, guys.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the
Great
website.
price, Warren. I agree. Don Diego. Give it strength. Very good runs, hidden runs its last 2 starts.